There's a strange pattern behind almost every unforgettable person. It has nothing to do with talent and almost nothing to do with luck. Once you see it, you can't unsee it in your own life. Most people believe success comes from talent, or luck, or who you know. Wrong. It comes from becoming someone the world cannot look away from. We're going to explore how to build unshakable presence, how to turn quiet consistency into gravity, and how to become the person success cannot ignore. Here is the truth this whole video is built on. Say it with me, eventually. Success doesn't reward the loudest voice. It rewards the steadiest one. Become that and you become impossible to ignore. That's it. That's the whole idea. Everything else is just how. Episode 1. The seed. Nobody sees. How does an invisible person become an unmissable one? Not overnight. Not with a single lucky break. It starts smaller than you think and slower than you want. Success doesn't reward the loudest voice. It rewards the steadiest one. Become that and you become impossible to ignore. You've probably started things before and quit. Everyone has. You've had mornings where the plan felt real and nights where it felt foolish. That's not a character flaw. That's just what it feels like to be human and ambitious at the same time. But here's the part nobody tells you. The quitting wasn't the problem. The starting over again and again without ever letting the process compound. That waste problem. Think about a seed buried in dark soil. For weeks, nothing happens on the surface. No proof, no applause, no update for anyone watching. The seed is doing the most important work of its life in complete silence. Your habits work exactly the same way. The disciplines you practice when no one is watching are the roots. Nobody claps for roots, but nothing grows without them. Don't seek the spotlight. Build the gravity. Say it again in your head. Don't seek the spotlight. Build the gravity. That's the secondary mantra of this whole video, and you'll hear it more than once, because you'll need to hear it more than once. One good morning won't change your life. One good workout won't change your body. One good conversation won't change your career. But one disciplined choice, repeated until it becomes identity, can change everything. Here's the permission you didn't know you needed. You are allowed to start again. Today. Right now, mid-sentence if you have to. The version of you that gave up last time is not a life sentence. It's a seed that got buried and forgot it was still alive. For breathe. Begin. The people who become impossible to ignore are not the ones who never failed. They are the ones who kept planting after the last seed didn't grow. Nobody sees the 20th seed. Everybody sees the tree. You don't need a new personality to become that person. You need a smaller decision, repeated in the dark, until the world has no choice, but to notice the light it eventually makes. This is not about motivation. Motivation is weather. It comes and goes, and you can't build a house on weather. This is about identity. About becoming slowly the kind of person who does the thing, regardless of how the weather feels that day. So plant today. Not because you feel ready. Plant because readiness is a myth, invented by people who are still waiting. Episode 2. The wall of bricks. Why do some people seem to build an entire life while others rebuild the same day over and over? Success doesn't reward the loudest voice. It rewards the stone. Become that, and you become impossible to ignore. You already know this in your body, even if you haven't said it out loud. The days you feel proud of yourself are rarely the dramaticones. They're the ordinary ones, where you simply did what you said you would do. And the days you feel ashamed are rarely catastrophes either. They're just the quiet days where you let yourself down and told yourself it didn't count. It counted. Think about a brick wall. No single brick holds up the structure. Remove one brick and the wall barely notices. But stack enough bricks, in the same place, in the same pattern day after day, and you get something that can hold a roof, survive a storm, outlast the people who built it. Your daily choices are bricks. Most days feel too small to matter. That feeling is a liar. Don't seek the spotlight. Build the gravity. This is the moment in your day where you either lay a brick or you don't. Nobody is grading you in real time. Nobody will notice one missed day. That's exactly why it's dangerous. The absence of consequence is not the same as the absence of cost. Here's a different way to think about your actions. Every choice you make is a vote. A vote for the distracted version of you, or a vote for the focused one. A vote for the person who quits when it's hard, or the one who's simply used to continuing. You are not born with an identity. You vote yourself into one small action at a time. One vote won't decide the election. One brick won't build the wall. One rep won't build the muscle. But 1,000 votes, cast the same way, will decide exactly who wins. This is where most people get discouraged, because they're looking for the wall to appear after the 10th brick. It won't. It will look like nothing for a long time. Then, one ordinary Tuesday, you'll realize you've built something that used to feel impossible. Discipline. That word carries a weight most people try to avoid. But discipline isn't punishment. It's just the name we give to caring about your future self, enough to inconvenience your present one. You don't need to lay every brick perfectly. You need to lay one, today, in the right place, and let tomorrow worry about tomorrow's brick. That's it. That's the whole method disguised as something complicated. Episode 3. The ballot you cast today. What if every single day you were quietly voting for the person you were about to become? Success doesn't reward the loudest voice. It rewards the steed eye stone. Become that, and you become impossible to ignore. This is where the story shifts. Up until now, we've talked about the bits like they're just tasks. Brush teeth, do the workout, send the email. But that's not really what's happening. Every action you take is a small, quiet ballot for your own identity. You are not just doing things. You are becoming someone. Imagine a sculptor standing in front of an enormous block of marble. From the outside, it looks like nothing. Just stone, heavy and shapeless. The sculptor doesn't add anything to make the statue appear. They remove what doesn't belong, one careful strike at a time. Your identity works the same way. You're not adding a personality from nowhere. You're chiseling away the excuses, the distractions, the versions of you that don't match who you're trying to become. Don't seek the spotlight. Build the gravity. Every strike of the chisel is invisible progress. Nobody applauds dust falling off a block of stone. But that dust is the whole story. Here's the identity shift that changes everything. Stop asking, what should I do today? Start asking, who is voting for who they're becoming today? That single reframe turns a boring task list into an act of self-definition. Skipping the workout isn't just missing exercise. It's a vote for someone who quits when it's inconvenient. Showing up anyway is a vote for someone who's dependable even to themselves. You are allowed to have voted wrong before. Most people have a landslide of votes for the wrong version of themselves, somewhere in their past. That election is over. A new one starts the moment you decide it does. One vote for discipline won't define you. One vote for courage won't define you. One vote for showing up won't define you. But cast that same vote enough times, and it stops being a choice. It becomes who you are. That's the quiet secret behind every person who seems to have it figured out. They didn't get a different starting point than you. They just kept voting the same way long enough that it turned into identity, and identity is what success actually notices. Nobody becomes unignorable by accident. They vote their way there, one unglamorous day at a time. Episode 4. The rope bridge. Why does consistency feel invisible? Right up until the moment it becomes undeniable. Success doesn't reward the loudest voice. It rewards the steed die stone. Become that, and you become impossible to ignore. There's a particular kind of pain that comes from doing everything right and still not seeing results. You've probably felt it. You show up, you try, you do the work, and the world stays quiet. No signal, no reward. It's tempting, in that silence, to assume you're doing it wrong. You're probably not. Think about a rope bridge stretched across a canyon. From one side, it looks flimsy. Thin cables swaying slightly. Nothing solid underneath. But that bridge was built one strand at a time, each any too weak on its own to hold anything. Woven together, those same strands can carry the weight of a person crossing a canyon that would otherwise be impossible to cross. Your consistency is the same. Any single day looks flimsy. Weeks of single days, woven together, become something that can carry you across distances that used to feel uncrossable. Don't seek the spotlight. Build the gravity. The bridge doesn't need an audience while it's being built. It needs someone willing to keep adding strands even when no one's crossing yet. Here's the part that separates people who eventually become unignorable from people who stay invisible forever. They keep adding strands during the boring middle. The middle is where almost everyone quits. The beginning has excitement. The end has payoff. The middle has neither, and it lasts the longest. One strand won't hold your weight. One rep won't build your strength. One day of discipline won't build your reputation. But strand after strand, rep after rep, day after day, you end up with something strong enough to carry the exact life you used to. Only imagine no. You don't need to feel motivated to add today's strand. You need to understand that motivation was never the requirement. Consistency was. The bridge doesn't care how you felt on a rainy Tuesday when you still tied the knot. It only cares that the knot got tied. Your future doesn't care how you felt either. It only cares whether you showed up. Keep weaving. The canyon doesn't close itself, and neither does the distance between who you are and who you're capable of becoming. Episode 5. The missed day. What happens the day after you miss a day? Success doesn't reward the loudest voice. It rewards the steady stone. Become that and you become impossible to ignore. Here's a sentence worth remembering. One missed day is a mistake. 12 missed days is the beginning of a habit. That's not meant to scare you. It's meant to warn you early, while the fix is still cheap. Think about a single ember at the edge of a campfire. Leave it alone for one night, and it might still be glowing faintly by morning, ready to be built back into a fire. Leave it alone for 3 nights, and there's nothing left to rebuild from, just cold ash. Your momentum works the same way. One missed day still has heat in it. It's recoverable, forgivable, almost nothing. But momentum, left unattended, cools faster than people expect. And by the time you notice, you're not skipping a day anymore. You're starting over completely. Don't seek the spotlight. Build the gravity. This is exactly the moment gravity gets tested. Not on your best days, but on the day after your worst one. Most people don't fail because they missed a day. They fail because they turned one missed day into proof that they're not capable, and then they stop trying to prove otherwise. That's the real trap, not the missed workout, not the skip page, the story you tell yourself about what the miss means. Here's the redemption mechanic, and it's simpler than you expect. The goal was never a perfect streak. The goal was never missing 2 in a row. Miss a day, that's human. Miss 2, and you've handed the steering wheel to a version of yourself you don't want driving. One missed workout doesn't erase your progress. One missed deadline doesn't erase your reputation. One missed day doesn't erase your identity. But an unbroken pattern of missed days will quietly erase all 3, without ever announcing that it's happening. Discipline, not perfection. Discipline is not about never missing. It's about never missing twice. Say that back to yourself the next time you slip. Not never missing twice. That single rule, applied consistently, is the difference between people who fade and people who become impossible to ignore. Tend the ember tonight. Tomorrow it's still just an ember. In 3 nights, it's a choice you can't take back as easily. Episode 6. The Lighthouse. Why do some people seem to attract opportunity, while others chase it their whole lives and never quite catch it? Success doesn't reward the loudest voice. It rewards the steady stone. Become that, and you become impossible to ignore. Here's something that sounds backwards, but isn't. The people who become impossible to ignore usually stop trying to be noticed. They get so absorbed in becoming excellent, reliable, and steady that being noticed becomes an accident they can no longer avoid. Think about a lighthouse standing on a cliff. It doesn't chase the ships. It doesn't sail out into the storm looking for someone to rescue. It just stands exactly where it is, night after night, doing the one job it was built to do. Burn steadily, in the same place, regardless of the weather. Ships find their way to it precisely because it never moves and never dims. Your consistency works the same way. You don't have to chase the opportunity. You have to become so reliably yourself that the opportunity finds the coastline you're standing on. Don't seek the spotlight. Build the gravity. A lighthouse was never built to be looked at. It was built to be depended on. Depend on yourself first, and being looked at becomes a side effect. This is the identity aspiration this whole video keeps circling back to. You're not just trying to accomplish tasks. You're trying to become a certain kind of person. The kind whose word means something, whose yes is reliable, whose presence in a room changes. What the room expects is possible. That reputation isn't built with one impressive moment. It's built with 1,000 unremarkable honest that all pointed the same direction. One reliable week won't build a reputation. One reliable month won't build a reputation. But one reliable year, followed by another, will build something people start to talk about, whether you ever mention it yourself or not. That's the difference. People don't remember the day you tried hardest. They remember the year you never stopped trying. The lighthouse isn't remembered on a dramatic night. It's remembered because it was still standing, still burning, on every single night that came after. Stand where you are. Burn steadily. Let the ships find you. Episode 7. The answer you'll give one day. Someone is going to ask you how you did it. Successes doesn't reward the loudest voice. It rewards the steed eye stone. Become that, and you become impossible to ignore. Picture that conversation for a second. Someone looks at the life you've built, the discipline, the reputation, the quiet confidence that success cannot ignore, and they ask what the secret was. They're expecting something dramatic, a breakthrough, a mentor, a moment of luck that changed everything. That's not going to be your answer. Think about a river that carved a canyon over thousands of years. No single drop of water cut through that rock. No single day of flowing water made a visible difference. But drop after drop, day after day, patiently, without asking for credit, that water reshaped stone harder than anything it touched. Your life is being carved the same way, by decisions so small they don't even feel like decisions anymore. Don't seek the spotlight. Build the gravity. When people finally see the canyon, they'll assume something huge happened. You'll know better. You'll know it was water. Just water, showing up, every day, for longer than most people are willing to wait. So here's your honest answer. The one you'll actually give when someone asks how you did it. You'll tell them there was no secret. You planted seeds nobody saw. You laid bricks nobody applauded. You voted for who you wanted to become, over and over, on days that felt like nothing. You wove strands across a canyon that looked uncrossable. You tended the ember instead of letting it die twice. You stood like a lighthouse on nights. Nobody was watching the water. 1 year of that won't make you unignorable. 2 years might not either. But enough years stacked the same way, in the same direction, will build something the world eventually has no choice but to see. That is the whole answer. Not talent, not luck, not a shortcut somebody else knows and you don't. Just steadiness, chosen again and again, long after it stopped feeling exciting. Say it back one more time, because by now it should feel like yours. Successes doesn't reward the loudest voice. It rewards the steed eye stone. Become that, and you become impossible to ignore. Closing talent doesn't make you unforgettable. Luck doesn't make you unforgettable. Only steadiness does. Think about that. You didn't need a new personality. You didn't need a lucky break, a perfect morning routine, or permission from anyone else. You needed one decision, repeated in the dark, for longer than felt fair. This isn't a promise to a channel, and it isn't a task on a list. It's a promise you make quietly to yourself, the kind no one else ever has to hear. Tonight, before you fall asleep, decide, not loudly, not dramatically, just honestly, that tomorrow you plant these again. You lay the brick again. You cast the vote again. Nobody will see it happen. That's exactly the point. Success doesn't reward the loudest voice. It rewards the steady stone. Become that person quietly, one ordinary day at a time. And one day, success won't be able to look away. Become the person success cannot ignore.